Fantasy Footballers Sunday Live.
Welcome in, everybody. It's a very, very special edition of Sunday Live. It's me, your usual host, Mike the Fantasy Hitman Wright from the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. What's going on, everybody? As you can see, Jason Moore is in the building.
I figured today's a big day for the two of us.
It is. Well, I mean,
for everyone.
Yeah, for everyone. But I'm saying, like, the matchup between the two of us, we're looking at I already have to hit a grand slam in every single at bat.
You're going to need that scratcher to be a good one.
Yeah. So our matchup is,
but 3 of 18 players have played. So,
but we will see. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Sunday Live, your weekly Tilt Fest with me, with Jason. We are getting into that nitty-gritty Week 11, so that we got, this means we have 4 weeks left of the regular season before we head into those playoffs. We are making that push. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the playoff primer. We love that episode. We did it on Wednesday. If you missed it, go back. That's where we are getting you ready for those playoff matchups. Thank you for joining us for Sunday Live. If you've never joined us, welcome in. If you're back, welcome in. Everyone gets the welcome here at the Sunday Live. We're like, who's the phone company? They're like, everyone gets the best deals.
I believe right now that is Verizon. No, it's AT&T.
Oh yeah.
It's
all,
all
LeBron's in the commercials.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Which we need LeBron to do a commercial for us.
I was just thinking that. I'm gonna make a note.
Make a note. Call his people. We'll get him in the next one. If you've never joined us before, this is how it works. We take a look at the big picture. That's all the big news and notes, because fantasy football is a game where you need the most up-to-date information. Then we jump into the rankings, thefantasyfootballers.com. That's where our rankings are right now. They are updated as of right now, and after this, we will go update them some more. But we have a start-sit tool on there. You put in player X, you put in player Y, ba-boom, ba-bam, we let you know who our rankings favor and a bunch of other really cool stuff to help you make the best decision that you can make given your circumstances. Then we get into questions from the people as well. Al Borland is our favorite producer today. Are you on mic today, Al?
I am.
You're a little
The voice is a little bit deeper than normal.
You're the bug.
Just hanging out with my 2 best friends here today.
That's right. Oh, fantasy football. All right, let's get into the big picture.
The big picture.
All right, Matthew Stafford is in. He is out of the concussion protocol. Will play. Lamar Jackson will be playing against Carolina. I think he also had the bug, but he was videoed. He's walking in. He's going to go. I mean, not optimal situation when your running quarterback is ill, but it's Lamar Jackson. You're going to play him. And here is our biggest a big decision already. Kyler Murray, game time decision. He is playing Monday night. They are playing that Mexico City game. Cardinals v. San Francisco 49ers. Kyler has a game-time decision. Colt McCoy was removed from the injury report. So it seems like if you have Kyler, you can still make the move. You can either have Jimmy Garoppolo on the bench, Colt McCoy as the backup. Jason, as of Sunday, who do you prefer to have your backup?
I would rather have Jimmy Garoppolo as the backup. I think
he's sticking with.
Yeah, I think he's a good play this week in general. So if you can grab him on your waivers and wait all the way till game time, that's your best bet.
Is Kyler going to play? Honestly, I do not have any read. They've not given us anything here in Arizona, nothing special to believe that he's either the player or he's going to sit. Him being a game-time decision, suboptimal for fantasy football purposes.
Yeah, and if you've got daily locked waivers, make sure you make the transaction before, like right now. You have to do it now, because if you don't drop someone and everybody starts playing, you won't be able to, change your lineup come Monday.
The way I would play it personally, if I had like a decent backup option going today, like a Daniel Jones or someone like that, I would just take the points. I wouldn't risk going into Monday night and having no quarterback. At the running back position, Jamal Williams, he missed some practice time with an illness. He is going to play. Zeke, Dallas Cowboys news. He is going to play, but all the reports we are getting are he is going to be eased back in. Tony Pollard will be the leader of the timeshare. He's in. Zeke, though, where are you at, Jason? Is he still like a low-level running back 2, or is he down into the flex category?
I think he's down into the flex category until you see him back playing well. He's wearing a brace that he doesn't usually have, and if he's running behind Tony Pollard, I'd rather get a week. I mean, if he gets a touchdown on my bench, I'm fine. Obviously, some people are desperate and going, please play, I need someone. You can play him.
Ezekiel Elliott or Deontay Foreman? Deontay Foreman against the Baltimore Ravens.
I would go Foreman.
Just take the volume?
Yeah, exactly.
Gus Edwards, that was quite the up-and-down roller coaster we had throughout the week. Was expected to play per some sources, then not expected, and we have our answer. He will not be playing. Gus Edwards will get another week to recover from his hamstring injury, and Kenyon Drake will be playing. Kenyon Drake
time, baby.
Here we go again. Kenyon Drake is back into being a very strong fantasy football play.
And is probably on a lot of your waivers now.
He could be. Or he might have hit the waivers because you had Gus Edwards, and Gus Edwards took over, so you dropped Kenyon Drake, and then immediately Kenyon Drake was the running back you should have had the whole time.
You're speaking like a man who did that move.
He's so freaking stupid.
That sucks, man. I am sorry for you. At least I don't have to play against Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, that's true. J.D. McKissick, the Manders, he is out. He is on to the IR. This is what we were talking about a couple weeks ago, that it was the neck injury, not the same injury he had the other year, but the same area of his body. They have to take it seriously. He has been shut down now. Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, they will remain strong running back 2 plays. Who you want to play probably depends on your scoring format.
Now
I'm starting
Antonio
Gibson
Gibson over DeAndre Swift, right?
Currently, that is how I have it. DeAndre Swift not in this injury portion of the show, but like I have no idea. I have no idea what to do with DeAndre Swift. His latest quote was essentially saying, "I'm still playing through some stuff. My best football remains ahead of me." But the team is giving him like 5 opportunities a game that has turned into a touchdown, I think 2 of the last few weeks. So he has bailed you out fantasy football-wise from the very, very limited opportunities. But, I mean, it's a pretty desperate play at this time to have DeAndre Swift in your starting lineup. It is just – he is like the absolute worst fantasy football player right now, because you know that he is so good that he could have 8 touches in a game and be a legit top 12 running back on the week. That can happen. Or he can get 8 touches and be running back 45 on the week. So it's just
the problem is I don't think he is healthy.
It's impossible.
I don't think he's healthy enough right now to be the guy who has 8 touches and is a top 12 fantasy asset. Healthy DeAndre Swift can do it with 8 touches. I just don't think I think he's really dealing with some shoulder problems.
So my guy Gus Edwards is out. Jason, your guy Justin Jefferson will be playing. He was limited at practice with a toe injury. I mean, there was never really any doubt that he was going to play. Wan'Dale Robinson, he's going to play.
Okay.
And you know who else
is playing? Are you going to play him?
Wan'Dale? No.
No.
But what about this guy? Kenny Galladay. He's playing, everybody. Hey, we got to do this last week. There it is. DJ Chark is in. I missed that one. That one's news to this guy. He will be back for the Detroit Lions. That's actually tremendous news for Jared Goff. I think it's great news for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Get a true field stretcher out there. Let the sun god eat underneath. That's great news over there. Juju remains out in the concussion protocol for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Broncos will be without Jerry Jeudy, without KJ Hamler. Cortland Sutton.
It's a good play.
I think he's a strong floor play this week against the Las Vegas Raiders. Kendall Hinton, maybe in your DFS lineup. He is the wide receiver 2 for them this week.
And Greg Dulcich at tight end. More targets able to go his way against a terrible Raiders defense.
Corey Davis remains out here for the New York Jets. I think the only thing that changes for me is that Garrett Wilson his targets become safer. The matchup
is not good.
It's not great. It's not what you want for Garrett Wilson, but he is ascending to a top-tier wide receiver. I'm playing him kind of regardless of the matchups. Josh Reynolds for the Lions, he will be out. Devontae Adams got the questionable mark. Apparently there is an abdominal thing that was keeping him limited in practice. I'm playing Devontae Adams. They said he's expected to play, so this is not super concerned about it.
He is an afternoon game, so if he's in your lineup, it's still best to put him out of the wide receiver. Like, if you've got a wide receiver in your flex right now, just swap him to the flex position.
Sure.
So that if something more serious comes up in the afternoon, you have more flexibility if you need to switch to a running back.
Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, both are listed as questionable. Both are reported that they're going to play. That is not until Sunday night. This creates major chaos. I guess a little bit of chaos for you, Jason. You were going to play Joshua Palmer, who, if both of these guys play, I mean, how do you possibly start Joshua Palmer? Even with this great matchup against the Chiefs for a bunch of points, it's the highest over-under of the week.
Yeah, I mean, you can still start him as like a borderline flex because he has been worked more and more into the offense, the more rapport with Justin Herbert, and you have two guys coming back from injury. So, I mean, it's not like we've never seen Keenan Allen come back or Mike Williams come back and have to leave the game due to injury. So, but I agree with you. Like, in our matchup, I had Josh Palmer in there happily. He was my start of the week. I am not recommending everyone start Joshua Palmer anymore. I switched it over to Devin Singletary because he is the third man at best, really fourth behind Eckler as well.
So what do you do with the 1 and 2? Do you put them right back? Do you take the gamble on the Sunday night matchup and then put the guys fresh off of the injuries back into the lineup?
It is so hard. I have Mike Williams in a couple of places. Right now he's on my bench. I feel more confident starting Mike Williams than Keenan, solely because Keenan has already come back once from this injury. It's a soft tissue issue, and it's one of those things where you see that. You see that players not being able to come back from the hamstring multiple times. They take time off, come back, re-aggravate it. So I worry more about just a re-aggravation. If everyone's healthy, though, like if those two guys are healthy and they play 100% of snaps or their normal allotment, they're going to be great fantasy assets. So it's a gamble that you have to decide what kind of underpants you wearing today. And then, high upside for sure.
Andy had tweeted it out a little bit earlier in the week. I saw it that like this could be your last chance to trade low for Justin Herbert, because if these guys are actually back and they're going to be on the field moving forward, re-aggravation, of course, notwithstanding, but Justin Herbert should be back into our easily in the top 12 and like moving up to a top 8, maybe a top 6 play as he used to be, like basically all of last year when he had true weapons out there on the field. DeAndre Hopkins, Cardinals wide receiver, is listed as questionable. This one is I think he's going to play, but this one is very tough to go into Monday night and not really have any other pivot options because no one else, I mean, unless somehow you have Rondale Moore, because like you're looking at Brandon Ayuk is not available, Debo's not available. Your pivot options if Hopkins sits are catastrophic at best because it's like AJ Green, the Dortch.
Yeah, I mean those are the two guys that are widely available on waivers that you could throw in there. I mean if I've got Hopkins, I'm waiting until the last minute. Okay. So I'll wait and pivot to which one of those two would you pivot to? The Dortch, Greg Dortch, or would you go with AJ Green?
Probably Green.
I think I'd go Dortch. Yuck.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Well, and Hollywood might
That's
play.
The next note is Hollywood has a chance to play. I mean, Hollywood's not on your waiver wire. Most likely, if he is, you should scoop Hollywood Brown up immediately. He has a chance to play. We'll see. Not really expecting him to play, but moving forward, he's going to be great on this offense. And Kyler Murray, should he play next week, I mean, that's some serious business. That's some real strong firepower for the Arizona Cardinals. Mark Andrews is back, baby.
It's been too long.
Least, I mean, he's active.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's had enough time. They listening to him talk about how they had the long-term view in mind, the fact that he's playing, he should be ready to go. But I'm it depends on your specific situation. I would like to, if I've got the roster spot, hold on to Isaiah Likely for another week because I want to see them both together.
Sure.
I think with the lack of receiving options, this could be an offense with Lamar where you have kind of the Aaron Hernandez, Gronk situation of an offense where you could have two tight ends be relevant in the same offense. Seems weird because it doesn't happen very often, but Likely's just shown so much in these few games without Andrews.
He's definitely interesting. Cole Kmet, get there fast and then take it slow. He's going to play. Got a little bit banged up at the end of last week. David Njoku is back for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, he's probably right back into my lineup because he was one of the better options at the tight end position. So if you've been, treading water at the position, I would probably just go right back to David Njoku. Gerald Everett was downgraded on Saturday to questionable. That's not a good situation. I would not mess around with that. I would probably look to go elsewhere unless you're pivoting into like Trey McKitty for the Chargers, which that comes with its own risks. And, of course, the Cleveland-Buffalo game was moved to Detroit.
And good news, all the players are there.
They got there?
They're all there. They're going to play football.
That is great. They figured it out. Owl has the computer, gotten all the information.
Let me check. Yep.
Oh, man, the computer, it's always got the goods. Never lets us down. Let's move on.
He's so hot right now.
All right, Al, who's hot, who's not?
All right, as you know, our website has the 50 most popular searches this week.
Okay.
And I've never seen a player dominate that section like Kadarius Toney.
Oh, here
He's
we
in
are.
18 of the 50 most popular start-sit
The answer is Kadarius Toney.
So I'm going to give you a few, but if you want to give your overall feelings.
Okay.
Darnell Mooney, Michael Pittman, Rondale Moore.
Okay. All right, let's keep those names up just in case we forget them, because we're going to have to go one at a time. So Kadarius Toney, traded to the Chiefs, has already made an impact. Targets per route run through the roof. Looks electric. Looks twitchy. Juju's out. Let's see. MVS.
Hardman is
McCole
on
Hardman
IR.
was put on the IR. I think MVS is going to play. I hadn't seen otherwise, but he was kind of questionable. So Kadarius Toney in the highest over-under of the week.
With the best quarterback in the NFL.
Here's what we think should happen. Kadarius Toney should be a full-time wide receiver. He should be started. He should be in every 3 wide receiver set at minimum. Probably should be in every 2 wide receiver set. But is he ready to go? Do the Kansas City Chiefs think what we are thinking, or do they have more information that says, no, Kadarius Toney still needs to be a part-time player? So there is high risk to me still putting Kadarius Toney out there, especially compared to some players. Rondale Moore,
He's been so good.
I would play Rondale Moore over Kadarius Toney. He's in a fantastic spot. If DeAndre Hopkins is like slightly limited, we haven't seen what the Cardinals look like with a full week to game plan with no Zach Ertz. I think it turns into more Rondale Moore targets.
Yeah, Rondale Moore.
He feels so safe.
He is much, much safer than Kadarius Toney. That was the name when Jeremy, when you're throwing out these names, I would take Pittman's playing against the Eagles. I don't trust that. I want the upside of Kadarius Toney. Rondale, just the volume without Zach Ertz should be there. But there is a world where Hopkins plays and Hollywood plays, and now Rondale's the third option. So that one I go back and forth on. When I looked at my rankings this week, my rankings literally go Kadarius Toney, Michael Pittman, Rondale Moore. So I think I need to bump Rondale up a little bit. I think my heart says Rondale, Kadarius, Pittman.
Yeah, I've got my rankings right now have Rondale a little bit lower. I have to move him up. I don't mind Kadarius Toney over Michael Pittman because it's like 9 targets for Matt Ryan, the way that they're using Michael Pittman, or 5 for Kadarius Toney from Patrick Mahomes. I'll take those 5 targets. Who was the first name? Oh, Darnell Mooney.
Mooney's last on this list for me.
Yeah.
The matchup is great against Atlanta.
I really like Darnell Mooney this week.
I get it. I think Mooney's a good play. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I think these are 4 good plays, but I am really excited for the upside of Kadarius Toney. This is a riskier pick. It's very, very similar to Christian Watson this last week of like,
sure.
Do you take the gamble of what you know is a high ceiling? In this last week, it was scary with Christian Watson as someone that did start him. He wasn't on the field for some of these snaps where they're in clear passing situations, and you're going, what's going on? He didn't have that many targets, but then at the end of the game, he has 2 touchdowns, puts up 20 points, and you're thrilled because he's a really explosive athlete. That's Kadarius Toney to me. I want to start Kadarius Toney this week.
All right. Who's next?
All right, let's move over to the running back position and talk about Deonta Foreman. A lot of questions coming in about him.
Okay.
How about Deonta Foreman or Isaiah Pacheco?
Back-to-back in my rankings. I've got Pacheco 1 spot higher.
Deonta Foreman.
Both of these teams on the road.
He freaks me out because he's crushed the Atlanta Falcons twice. People crush the Atlanta Falcons. In his first game action, they were playing Chuba Hubbard above him. That doesn't matter anymore. And Deonta Foreman was fine, but had a 60-yard run. Will that happen against the Baltimore Ravens? Like, the Ravens against this defense, with Baker Mayfield back, can they do anything? Like, can the Ravens literally just put 8 people in the box every single play and say, go ahead, Baker. What do you have to beat our secondary? Because the answer is you probably cannot do it. Deonta Foreman, the volume, like, if you get 15 for, I don't know, 50.
Oh, that's
that will not surprise me in the slightest.
That would be really,
and
really
that would
bad.
Suck.
But Pacheco is a
they
little
also
bit of
have the lowest implied team total of the week. I think their implied total is like under 14 points or right around there.
Oof.
It's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get a touchdown from Foreman, I think you'll be disappointed. These guys are kind of similar, though. Pacheco and all Kansas City running backs after the first month where Clyde was getting touchdowns, they could put up 45 points, the Chiefs can, and none of the running backs do anything of relevance. But this last week, he had a lot of carries, ran for over 5 yards a carry, didn't do much more other than that, wasn't the passing downs guy. The matchup is really, really good. And because, Baltimore added Roquan Smith to that defense, I think, you might look at, Baltimore's kind of beatable there. They're better now. So, Eileen Pacheco.
Pacheco as well.
Okay, here's a fun one. Deonta Foreman or Najee Harris?
Nah. Ooh.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Najee, wow.
What is this world? I don't like it.
Najee's facing the Bengals.
Najee, yeah, he's taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, divisional game. The latest news that we have is Najee will still get the bulk of the carries. This could be better for him. Like that, the fact that they have Jaylen Warren, they get a change of pace running back, change it up on the defense so they can't just completely adjust to Najee's running style the whole time. Maybe it's better. I would play Najee. I would play Najee over Deonta Foreman.
I will play Foreman. Yeah, I
sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
Who else is
all right, let's move over to the quarterback position real quick. Russell Wilson or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Wilson. Man.
They're both in plus matchups. Now, there was news that came out that Hackett is going to give play calling duties away, right?
Yes.
To Kubiak.
Yes.
The newest Coobs.
The new Coobs.
New Coobs. So that's interesting. There's at least hope there, right? Because we know that there's a big problem with the offensive planning and play calling. It's just been horrific. There's still a big problem with the quarterback play that's been horrific. Like Russell Wilson's on-field performance, regardless of what play is called, has been terrible. The matchup against the Raiders is so great, though. The hope that one of those two things is fixed, I don't have the underpants for it. I think I stick with Garoppolo.
I think Jimmy's fine as a floor play, but his ceiling is not what Russell Wilson could do this week. Like the chances that Russ ends up with two passing touchdowns or just 2 total touchdowns versus Garoppolo,
much higher.
Give me Russ.
Yeah.
So because of it's what your team needs. So you need the safety of Jimmy Garoppolo, who's going to give you 17-ish points, or Russ, who could give you 12, but he could also give you like 23. So I would go with Russell Wilson. My rankings have Garoppolo a bit higher, but again, rankings can't tell you the whole entire story of the outcomes, the ceiling outcome, the floor outcome of these players. So if I had those two guys side by side, I would go with Russ.
All right. Lastly, over at the tight end position.
And you just go, oh no. Yeah.
The most asked about tight end this week is Greg Dulcich. Are you starting him over Kyle Pitts?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Higbee?
The Higbee matchup it's not the best against the Saints.
But with Cooper Kupp gone, Stafford
I'm
back,
making an adjustment here. I'm moving Higbee up.
I would rather have. I mean, this is ironically is very similar to the last question. I feel like Higbee is the safer floor. Who's guaranteed 8 targets, probably Higbee over Greg D. But Higbee's not having any kind of 40-yard reception in this game. I don't think that's possible for him right now. He is an 8-yard per reception type of player. You get a little screen, you run a little bit, and then eventually you're tackled. So the higher floor is Higbee. I would rather in my tight end spot, I would rather have the known points, so I would go Higbee. But if you need a big play, if you need someone to go out there and be able to score 20 points at tight end somehow, it's not going to be Higbee.
All right, let's get into the people.
Stardom, set 'em.
All right, we're going to try and go just rapid, so fast. Are you ready?
I already gave the answer. That's how fast I went. You didn't even hear it.
Ryan. Wait. Ryan says him over Njoku.
I would go Njoku.
I don't know who him is.
Yeah.
But Mark says Njoku or Higbee.
Njoku.
Wow. I'd go Higbee. Shane wants to know Boyd or Olave, PPR.
Oh, man, that's a good question. Boyd's been on fire. Olave's been kind of quiet.
Boyd.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, too.
I will say it for Stephen King, the Stephen King.
Oh, man, great work.
I don't know how you have time with writing 2 books every single week to get fantasy football in there, but thank you for joining us. Full PPR, start 2. Pittman, Deontay, Devontae Smith.
Deontay is going to the bench.
Okay, for the full PPR?
Yeah.
All right. Luke says McLaurin or Kadarius Toney. That's Terry McLaurin for me. Just no hesitation.
He's been so good. That's fine. We'll go McLaurin. But we've talked about this with Houston. It's like if he doesn't get an early touchdown, they might not need to throw the ball much. There's just
that's fine. Give me 18 attempts, but he gets 50% of the targets. That's still good target volume.
Okay.
Matt says Foreman or DeAndre Swift, half PPR.
Foreman.
What a
I don't
disaster.
really want to start DeAndre Swift until after I see him, I don't know, getting opportunities to score fantasy points.
Ivan, Brian Robinson or Deontay Foreman? That's Brian Robinson easily.
Brian Robinson's a great play this week.
Let's see. Swift or Garrett Wilson? I guess we would go Garrett Wilson. No, I would. I would. Let's see. Kyler Murray. Oscar says Kyler Murray, or you wait on him, or do you go with Heineke or McCoy? So McCoy being
I would wait on McCoy.
Okay, so you wouldn't play Heineke over?
No, the Houston Texans they're definitely beatable at quarterback, but like we just said, you usually get a lead and then you run on them so easily that you don't need to throw the ball much.
We got Kenny says James Conner or Antonio Gibson.
Gibson. Oh man, that's tough. I said it. I was like, yeah, okay.
This will be Jason's last Sunday Live after he realizes the stress and the pressure of these start-sit decisions. These are not fun ones to make.
Yeah, the matchup against San Francisco for Connor scares me. The matchup for Gibson is so juicy. Obviously, one of them is in a massive timeshare and the other gets everything. With the question marks around Kyler.
This is not rapid, Jason.
Okay, then I'm going Gibson.
Joe says Mike Williams or Brandon Ayuk, half-point PPR.
And what's your answer?
All right,
I'm going Ayuk.
I would go with Brandon Ayuk as well. The dude is absolutely on fire. And then we will get out of here on this one. This one's from Inudi.
Oh.
Not safe for work over here. Because we haven't mentioned him, so we got to get a question in here. Justin Fields or Joe Burrow?
Justin Fields, baby.
It is Justin Fields for me as well. TheFantasyFootballers.com. We're going to get back into the laboratory, make sure that the rankings are where we want them. Again, the Start Sit tool is there. If you are a kind supporter of this podcast at jointhefoot.com, that 2-player Start Sit tool, boom, magic out of a hat, becomes 4 players, as well as some other really cool perks like a podcast every single week with your question. Oh, there it is. Look at that grip. Oh, Weatherman got me. Oh, I was backwards. It's somewhere. But a lot of cool stuff. All of our tools, those will become available to you as well. That is going to do it Good luck, everybody. I wish your enemies nothing but the worst. I hope Jason's team falls into a toilet and cannot recover itself.
I don't think so.
Remember to keep it beautiful, and we'll see you tomorrow. Mwah.